Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Happy Tuesday. It's December 14th, and prices of Bitcoin currently at 47,000 flat. Looks like overnight we went all the way to about 48,000, starting to roll over again. But there's a lot to discuss today other than Bitcoin price action. There's a couple of news and macro events that we need to talk about, things happening in the NFT world, airdrops to discuss, and many things. So first things first, once again, our Discord is fully open for everybody. Everybody who's watching on YouTube right now, all the public people, you can join our Discord for free. Okay, there's a link in the YouTube description below. You can click on it and join our Discord. And these are all the channels that we have in our Discord. The NFT gaming chat, very, very busy, very active. We find a ton of unique opportunities, not only from the Solana ecosystem, but from the Ethereum one as well. In the NFT world, we have a pretty active DeFi chat as well, discussing all kinds of opportunities, what's happening in the DeFi space. We have airdrops that are slowly being rolled out in the crypto world that we talk about here. So you can have your potential opportunity to get a free airdrop, free money. Make sure you do your own research. Today's airdrop that I wanted to talk about was this one right here. It looks like the Sologenic set. So it's the Solo tokens that you need to hold plus XRP. They're going to take a snapshot of your wallet if you do have both the Solo and the XRP tokens, and they're going to airdrop you close to $1 billion for whoever's holding these tokens. So it looks like they're launching their own decentralized NFT marketplace. I would say definitely look into this. If you do hold the Solo and XRP tokens, kudos to you. If you don't hold them, I think the snapshot is being taken on December 24th, as you could see. Other things that are happening in the market, I think basis markets already had their airdrop. So I don't know if you missed out on that, but we pointed that out on December 11th. I think the airdrop happened just a few hours after I posted about it. A few other things happened. We saw this basis IDO. Let me see. I think there's another airdrop channel that we have here. Oh, there's a Solana airdrop alert as well. You may want to look into this just in case you drop some of this Prism tokens. Okay. So there's a ton of different opportunities that are popping up in terms of the airdrop world, but do be careful of connecting your wallet to any random thing. So let's get to the markets. Okay. First things first, BTC. All right. We got to talk about, first of all, this big wedge, this big triangle that's, sort of developing like this, right? There's obviously a funneling of price that's going on, something like that. But it doesn't mean that the funneling is going to lead to the downside. It just looks temporarily like in this particular area, it doesn't look that good. Okay, that's all I can say. It doesn't look that good, and it looks like it wants to break down further. But the fact of the matter is, yesterday in the volatile movement that we had from here all the way down, actually, I think we were somewhere up here early in the morning yesterday, and then we started dropping like really rapidly. And we took out key levels, 46,750 and then $46,000. Our community was actually in a long from, I want to say 48.4, and we closed out around $50,100. Okay, we took this long and we closed out here simply because we started to see this rejection forming and we let go of that long position. And I'm glad we did that. And you can actually verify that right here in the Bitcoin leverage long channel. As you can see, there's me taking the long once we were just breaking out this trend line around 48.5 and us closing out that long right around $50,100. Okay, I post this information in our 5K account as well. Right, I posted this right here. We took a loss on the Ethereum position, but we're currently sitting in the Matic spot. I'm sorry, not Matic spot, the Spell spot, but majority of everything else, we're sitting in cash right now. Okay, so we're just sitting on the market, kind of waiting out the blood that's been happening. Not really wanting to deal with all the spillage because there's a couple of macro events that are coming up that I believe are reshaping markets. And this is one of the topics that I wanted to discuss today. All this, movement that's been going on in BTC over the past few days has a macro backdrop to it, meaning there are larger news events aside from just crypto dropping. Okay. First things first, there is this warning of Omicron, once again, a variant of COVID becoming a bigger thing in the UK, in Europe, and also it's starting to spread in America. Now, it doesn't matter if you believe in this thing or not. I don't care about your politics. It doesn't matter if you think it's serious or not. But the point is that we in markets have to care about it because we're forced to care about it because it moves markets. People have a tendency to panic, panic buy or panic sell, depending on whichever side of the spectrum you're on. More often than not, this can kind of bring fear into the market. And so if it brings fear into the market, and there's also big money releasing assets into the market because they want to de-risk because of this thing, well, then we have to pay attention, right? It doesn't matter if you care about COVID or not. You are forced to pay attention. So as of right now, we are forced to pay attention because the world is talking about COVID and Omicron. The markets are talking about it and they're being reshaped because of this. And more importantly, governments themselves are starting to really, accelerate their reactivity to what's happening in the COVID space. And that may mean potentially, moving markets up and down due to fear, due to certain policy changes that they may have. Now, the larger macro policy change that may be coming out of this Omicron virus, as well as March 2020 COVID, was simply that we had recently Jay Powell, who's the Fed chair, talk about potentially, doubling the taper speed, meaning that you may actually start seeing all the bond purchasing programs that the Fed has to cut down further and further. That is one thing that the market looks at as a good opportunity to keep the market in check. If the Fed keeps buying these bond ETFs, these bonds, high yield junk bonds, that means that there's a floor to this stuff. And if the Fed stops buying that or reducing buying that, then that means that there might be a fallout in parts of the market. Okay, so this is what this tapering is talking about. Okay, you can read this on Market Watch and you can see this inflation reads that there is shows a slow deceleration. They're going to wind up hiking as soon as the tapering is over. So what they're really talking about is the central bank will probably double the pace of tapering its monthly bond purchases. And that means tapering would end in March instead of June. So if tapering is ending sooner, that means the markets themselves are reacting much sooner and in a more volatile way. The other thing that's impacting markets definitely is the Fed hiking interest rates potentially sooner. Why is the interest rate something that we care about? Well, because interest rate means the direct control of money supply in the market. Okay, when you raise interest rates, it becomes more expensive to take on risk to take money. When you lower interest rates and you keep interest rates low, you're effectively saying, hey, go out and take that risk. Go out and, take on that investment or whatever. Money is cheap, if you will. Okay. So anyway, point is, if the Fed does hike interest rates sooner, right? That's what the announcement might be on Wednesday. I posted about this in Bitcoin chat. Wednesday afternoon is a very important day as the FOMC will likely determine our fate for December and possibly Q1 2022 of what they're going to be doing about hiking interest rates if they're thinking about doing it. If they just say that, hey, we're not going to hike interest rates because we see that Omicron is going to be another big issue for us. And they say we're going to delay interest rate hikes till late 2022. Fantastic. And that means that the market will more than likely rally. Okay. So you can now see how BTC and crypto ties into Omicron, which also ties into what the Fed may or may not do. All these topics are related. Every part of the market is related in some way if you know how to connect the dots. All right. So as of right now, the market is sliding because there is a anticipation that maybe this Omicron is a big thing. Maybe there's just generally profit taking that's happening in December, or maybe the Fed on Wednesday might be hiking interest rates, and that might be spooking markets like crazy. Okay, so this is exactly where we are. That's the crux of the problem, is we don't really know what's going to happen Wednesday. All right. And until then, I would suggest to everyone that you be very, very careful in how you go about positioning yourself headed into Wednesday. As of right now, I have largely a cash position. I'm not looking to take on levered trades. If I do, it's probably just a quick in and out. That's really it. Aside from that, you want to be very, very careful in this market. All right. I will say one thing though. You do not need to short. Okay, you do not need to short. The time to short was like, way the heck back here in the 60s or high 50s. You definitely don't need to short right now, because guess what? Okay, the funding rates are extremely low. That means that the shorts right now are shorting heavily, and they are paying money to the longs just to keep their positions open. Whenever things like this happen, where you see interest rates that are turning negative, and on top of that, you see big players like Bitfinex. See, this is a Bitfinex exchange. They've set up huge walls. This is about, I think, 13 or 1400 BTC that I counted. This is a lot of buying power that Bitfinex has on the way down. That's like $58 million or something, right? Granted, 58 million is not that big if the market does start sliding. But the fact of the matter is, generally, when big players like Bitfinex start lining up walls, market's probably bottomed, or it's very, very close to a bottom. Okay. So point is, when you put together the negative funding rates, you put together Bitfinex buy walls lining up right below us, all these buy walls that you see, all the way going down to 44,000. Well, that means that the market is quite possibly indicating that, hey, we're going to buy up, whatever comes our way if it does start moving down. Okay. So you do want to pay attention in this area that after we've swept 46,750 and 46,000, that might be it. We might be done here, at least temporarily. Other assets that also look kind of bottomed, I would say the Matic, probably because you can see, let me take off the other pivots here. You can see we're bouncing off the pivot, number one, and we're bouncing off this ascending channel, number two, right? Matic actually has a positive catalyst that is coming up, which is the ZK rollups, right? The ZK rollups is something that is supposed to help Matic build its own ecosystem and its Ethereum compatibility to decongest Ethereum and speed up Ethereum faster. Okay, so Matic is that L2 that's going to effectively operate as an L1 on its own, but also operate as a L2 for trying to save Ethereum. And I think that's a very, very good thing in terms of fundamental catalyst for Matic. Okay, so even though Matic looks kind of cruddy over the last day or two, or even the last 5 days where it's dropped a lot, it's still in this large channel that you see, right? So it hasn't really done a whole lot other than just going to the top of the channel and now coming back to revisit the bottom of the channel. I want to say Ethereum looks decent, but it really doesn't. It doesn't look that good, to be honest. I will say that it's once again, obviously coming down to this SR level, which is around 3650, retesting it one more time, even though I don't think we needed a retest, but looks like we're doing it anyway, right? So we're pretty darn close to the lows already. If you're thinking about going long in Ethereum, I'd say the stop's got to be down here. Okay, the stop has to be down there, or else I don't quite know where else you would place a stop. Like if you place it too tight, you might get wicked into, and then price takes off, right? But if you have your stop down here, and if price happens to go down here, chances are pretty high that we're headed down further. Okay, so there's really no need for us to revisit this low unless we're breaking down further. And this, in my opinion, is probably the perfect positioning of the market as we head into this event that's coming up on Wednesday afternoon. Let's check if there's other questions in the chat. There's Near and Dot and E and J. Okay, cool. Let's do Near. So I've covered Near. So, again, Near is one of those newer L1 ecosystems that's popping up. But I do want to say that for the most part, majority of the market has been just getting completely hammered. Volumes are coming down significantly across the board. If you do believe that Near has some ability to offer, I don't know, a unique place for users to get high APRs, if they start staking and farming, or if you think they're going to open up their new NFT platform, or if you know some fundamental catalyst that is going to put Near above, say, something like Solana, which is doing extremely well over the past few months or past year, or AVAX, which has also been doing really well, right? If Near protocol doesn't have an edge above these two, then it's going to definitely follow these two on the way up and on the way down. It's as simple as that. Polkadot, it's the same thing, right? Polkadot is barely used when it comes to a L1 ecosystem or parachain product, right? Where's Polkadot here? There's Polkadot, right? Same thing. You can see Polkadot topped at $55. Now it's at 25. I mean, it's literally down more than 50%, from the highs, right? I'm not saying that you want to be selling here, but I'm saying that, okay, well, if you wanted to buy at any point, well, it's probably now, right? You don't want to be shorting now for sure. It could easily head down further, but if you have some fundamental belief as we head into 2022 that Polkadot has some edge over Solana or AVAX or FTM or Atom, these other ecosystem products, then be my guest, right? I mean, this should be your main bet, okay? Or even Near, which I just showed you earlier, okay? E and J, I'm not really a big fan of anymore, just because there's been so many different gaming and NFT platforms that have come up. E and J is kind of similar to Theta, I want to say, which is now in somewhat of a comparison to Axie or Mana. They're all kind of like in the same sector of crypto, which is like gaming, metaverse, NFT. It's all kind of bunched into one, right? Mana is another, and then Sand is another, I would say. Okay, all these assets, I mean, they're down 30, 40, 50%. So if you believe in any of these assets, right? So even E and J, okay, which just FYI, like, I mean, it's clearly underperformed over the past year and a half. It's underperformed Axie, it's underperformed Mana, it's underperformed even Theta, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to ask yourself, is there something that you know about Engine Coin that others do not from a fundamental perspective? Because it's already multiple billions in market cap, right? The problem with recognizing that, these assets could be good is that if it's already a $2 billion market cap, well, you've kind of sort of, come into the market thinking that, well, billions of market cap could lead to significantly more billions. And that is, in a down market, it's a bad way of thinking, because what happens more often than not is, if you look at this, right? If you look at the total market cap, okay, once we've exceeded all the way towards 3 trillion, we're now down to $2 trillion market cap. Okay, that's like a huge drop. I mean, what is that, 30% or something? That's a 30% drop in total market cap. It could head down further from here, all the way down to all the way down to 1.75 trillion, which is another 15% drop, right? That means Engine Coin could drop another at least 15%. Because remember, if this is total market cap, right, at the very least, Engine Coin is probably going to drop 10 to 15%. If it's a heavily risky asset and people want to start letting it go, it'll probably drop another 20 to 30%. Okay, so you got to ask yourself, okay, am I prepared for another big drop in Engine Coin from here to the tune of 15 to 30% range? And if not, then if you have a position in Engine Coin, you could consider letting it go, or you could double down as it heads down further. Okay, because the levels below for Engine Coin is $1.90, right? That's a key support level, KSR level across the board. So, from here down, right? From here down, that's another 16%, which matches up perfectly with that drop of 15 to 16% if the total market cap dropped from 2.1 trillion to about 1.75 trillion. Okay, so that's how I map out markets. You have to pay attention because we're now in a world in crypto where many, many things are many billions of dollars worth of market cap. And honestly, majority of them are complete shit. Cardano, garbage. XRP, garbage. The Polkadot doesn't really even have that much activity, garbage. Dogecoin is a meme coin, possibly garbage. People like it, I don't know, right? Shiba Inu, kind of garbage, okay? Even Litecoin, I mean, multiple billion dollars, 10 billion, Tron, 8 billion, right? Algo, which is really not that much used, but still 8 billion. At least Algo has like good fundamentals and it has good partnerships. Chainlink and Band, which are oracles, I don't even know if they're really used that much anymore. Okay. Again, 8 billion, right? Uniswap, Sushi, and the DEXs, which are used a decent amount, but if you look at them, they haven't done squat like all year, right? The volumes, I think, across the DEXs have come down. I was completely wrong about the DEXs. Like, honestly, I thought July, when the market started bouncing, I thought the DEXs like Uni, like Perp, like Cake, and Sushi would start ripping. Like, I thought they would put in new all-time highs, but I was completely wrong. Okay, because what happened was the market turned around and said, hey, where is the most value going to accrue? Well, and the market said, it sure as hell is not Sushi, and it's not Cake, and it's not 1inch, not Perp, and not Uni. What's going to accrue more value is going to be AVAX. It's going to be Luna, right? AVAX from July till November went from $10 to almost $150. Luna went from almost $4 down here to almost 75. Rune went from the lows of 350 all the way to 16, right? Solana went from almost $20 or $25 to almost 250, 260. So you can see the market kind of said, hey, we're going to bid up these L1s, forget everything else. Those are the things that moved up. So the question you got to ask yourself is, do you think that other products, other assets are going to accrue more value than these L1 ecosystem projects in 2022? I could see some way where new L1s come up, like Near, if they are able to offer some edge. But I want to say that people really like AVAX. People really like using Luna and Solana, right? I mean, I'm used to all of them now. So why am I going to be tempted to switch to Near protocol, right? Is it just because there's higher APRs? Is it faster? Is it cheaper? Is it much, much better? I mean, do they offer cool products, right? So all these things you got to pay attention to, okay? Which indicators am I looking to enter the market again? Definitely the FOMC meeting Wednesday, but honestly, I want to see just BTC kind of bottom and create a base, whether it's here or at the $42,000 level. I think a lot of these assets have come down a lot. I might start buying some, like, I don't know, maybe after Wednesday. Solana is at the top of my list. Matic is at the top of my list. Ethereum is also at the top of my list, right? Let me see what else I have at the top of my list. I think for now, AVAX as well, top of my list. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how Wednesday goes. Thoughts on the meeting tomorrow? I already talked about, I really don't think that they're going to hike interest rates like right away. If they really want to spook the market, they'll say, hey, well, instead of, raising interest rates in like April or May 2022, we're going to hike them in January. And that would really scare the shit out of the market, right? I could totally see that. I mean, instantly nuking BTC to like 40K, maybe even like mid 30s. Okay. I mean, it might be literally like a 24-hour event where the whole market just gets nuked. Okay. So that's how I'm watching that. BTC I covered. Ethereum still holding its levels. I mean, there's really nothing to watch on ETH other than you just got to watch that 3,600 level to hold right here. If it doesn't hold, we're probably headed down, 3,000 flat, maybe 2,500. But there's a lot of sort of support to chew through on the way down. But you just want to be careful. Okay. Like I said, I still have some long positioning in the market. If you check the position updates for my main account, I still have all these positions open, but in smaller size. In my main account, or I'm sorry, the 5K account, like I said, I have majority cash. I sold out of Matic at $2. Matic is currently sitting at $1.83. So I don't want to get back into Matic unless I see how this FOMC crap is going to clear up. Okay. Levels for BTC, we already spoke about this. I mean, we can easily head down further from here, but first of all, I think it's a good thing that we're trying to chop around in this area. If we could just reclaim, inside this triangle, this ascending trend line that you see, right? The one that's moving like this, like this, like this. If we could reclaim back inside that, we may be able to pop back up again. But as we're heading into Wednesday, maybe there's just a lot of pressure in the market, right? And it just might be tough for now. Okay. Let's see what else we got. So once again, you guys have full access to our Discord. You can come in, ask questions. You have access to everything. Okay. You have access to the education channel, the user requested TA. If you have any questions, I can answer them in here. You can look at, I don't know, 5K account, how I go about trading. You can look at any of these other channels where you may gain a lot of information and a lot of alpha. Okay, the link is below in the YouTube description. Let me see, lots of LRC buzz today and potential announcements. I have not heard a single thing, so I don't know. I've not heard a single potential announcement. Let me see, LRC announcement. GameStop, LRC announcement will be this week, likely Tuesday. Okay, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the announcement is going to be. It could be GME using LRC. I'm not really sure. So yeah, I'm really not sure. But yeah, if you have some links or some sources, let me know. Okay. Matic and Step and CRV. So Step, let's go over Step. Okay. So just to make a lot of these assets very clear, okay, they've broken key support levels. Okay. So, when I get asked these questions about multiple assets, it's very simple, right? I cover these pretty much every day. Okay. We were unable to hold. Okay. First of all, we had this pennant building. If you were part of our community, we spoke about once price re-entered back inside this pennant after this failure, this was bad. Then it dropped. Then it rejected the $75 level. And I was like, okay, well, from here, it's more than likely going to 40 cents. Not only did it go to 40, it broke 40 and it rejected 40 and it head down further. So unless it reclaims 40, or unless you want to be a buyer here and every little penny down, then there's no need for you to be in a position, right? Unless you're a believer of Step long-term and you are capable of buying all the way down until this thing maybe heads back to previous lows, which is another 50% drop from where we are, there's really no reason to look at this chart and say, all right, well, is this going to just turn around and be bullish right away? Markets just don't go up, 50 or 100% or 2x overnight, right? It takes them a while to build a base, especially after this, kind of big sell-off. All right, Matic, we already covered. CRV, I mean, same thing, right? Just completely breaking down, entering back inside this channel before it broke out from here. Not a good sign. Okay. Sometimes you just have to look at the weakness of assets and just say, okay, well, I don't really want to touch this unless I see capitulation or I see a base building or I see certain levels being reclaimed. All right. Or you could just wait for this FOMC meeting to wrap up. And then you say, okay, well, whatever. I think that the Fed is not going to do shit. I'm going to just buy all the way down. If CRV goes to $3 or 250 or $2, I'm going to buy every step of the way down. You could just think of it that way. But unless you're not prepared for something like that, then you don't have any business being in any of these assets. A lot of these are just completely correlated right now. Okay. As BTC goes up or down, most of these alts are just getting completely annihilated. So there's really not a whole lot of point to just, keep looking at this from a day-to-day perspective. You're going to have to wait for a good week or two, or maybe about even a month for these assets to build a base. Cool. All right. Yes, I already spoke about this, Bitfinex orders. So that's about it, folks. All right. Thank you so much. Once again, please do join the Discord. I want everybody to join, see how we trade, see how we analyze the markets. You may learn a thing or two. And I hope y'all join. All right. Take care, everybody. Good luck to you. Cheers.